What if everything we think we know about the universe, every star, every galaxy, you, me, what if all of it makes up only 5% of what's really out there? I mean, that's the grand mystery of modern cosmology. But what if the answer to that missing 95% isn't about finding some new stuff, but about realizing our entire reality is just an echo from a higher dimension? Well, today, we're diving into a radical new framework that suggests exactly that. Okay, so let's get into it. Our best map of the cosmos right now is what we call the Lambda CDM model. And look, it's been incredibly successful at describing the universe on a grand scale. But here's the crazy part. It's also painted this really startling picture. When you look at this breakdown, all the ordinary matter, everything we can see and touch, is just a tiny 5% sliver of the total cosmic pie. The rest? It's a complete enigma. And this forces us to ask some of the biggest questions in all of science. We've got a decent handle on that 5%, more or less, but what in the world is the other 95%? First up, there's this huge 27% chunk we've labeled dark matter. We know it's there. We can see its gravity holding entire galaxies together so they don't just fly apart. But we have no idea what it actually is. Scientists have been hunting for some kind of new particle for decades, and so far, nothing. And then you have the biggest piece of the puzzle, the biggest mystery of all, a whopping 68% of the universe's energy budget that we call dark energy. It's basically just a placeholder name for whatever is causing the expansion of the universe to speed up, pushing everything apart faster and faster. And here's the real kicker, something cosmologists call the coincidence problem. Why is it that the amounts of dark matter and dark energy are so similar right now in our specific cosmic era? Billions of years ago, they were wildly different. It feels like an unbelievable coincidence. And if there's one thing physics really, really hates, it's a wild coincidence. So the standard approach for years has been to search for new ingredients, new particles, new forces to add to the cosmic recipe. But what if we've been looking at the problem completely backwards? What if the answer isn't about adding another component to the mix, but about realizing we're in a totally different kind of kitchen? What if the answer is a new dimension? So this is the absolute core idea of what's called the 5D projection framework. It's asking us to make a huge shift in how we think about things. It suggests that our four-dimensional spacetime isn't some static box that holds all the stuff. Instead, our reality is a dynamic current, constantly flowing out of a timeless, five-dimensional reality, like a river flowing from this infinite reservoir of what the theory calls S-energy. So what does this actually mean for our universe? Well, if this idea is right, it completely redefines what matter, and dark energy are. They stop being these separate, mysterious things and instead become different effects of this one single underlying process. So let's bring back that cosmic pie chart. In this new framework, those mysterious slices get brand new names because now they have entirely new explanations. They aren't just these random amounts of stuff anymore. They're the inevitable, predictable outcomes of energy flowing from a 5D reality into our 4D world. Okay, so that 5% of ordinary matter we're all made of, the theory calls it a transient condensation. Basically, it's what happens when just a tiny fraction of that S energy flowing into our universe manages to stabilize and form particles. It's a really low-efficiency process, which is why there's so little of it. We're essentially just the foam on top of a much, much deeper ocean. Now, this is where the idea of dark matter gets really interesting. In this model, it's not a particle at all. It's called S-matter, and it's a kind of geometric stress in the fabric of space-time itself. The best way to think about it is that the fundamental shapes that build our 3D space, like tetrahedrons, can't perfectly tile all of reality. They leave these tiny, unavoidable gaps. S-matter is the gravitational tension that shows up in those gaps, creating the invisible scaffolding that galaxies form around. And the solution for dark energy is just as elegant. It's not some strange anti-gravity force. The theory calls it the hydraulic effect. It's simply the net inflow of all that S energy from the 5D substrate pouring into our universe, mostly through the vast, empty cosmic voids. And this constant inflow literally pushes space-time apart from the inside out, driving that accelerated expansion we see. So the all-important question, does this really cool idea actually solve the problems we started with? Well, according to this framework, the answer is a huge yes. It takes those weird cosmic coincidences and says, nope, that's not a coincidence, that's just how the math works out. And this slide really shows the difference in thinking. On the left, you've got the standard model. It's like a box of separate, unrelated parts that all need to be fine-tuned to just the right amounts for the universe to work. But on the right, you have this 5D framework, a single, unified system where everything we see emerges naturally from one source in a dynamic balance. And the payoff for this shift in thinking is huge. This one system claims to resolve major headaches in cosmology. That Hubble tension, the big disagreement on how fast the universe is expanding, is explained by local variations in that hydraulic flow. The nature of dark energy is no longer a mystery. It's a direct consequence of the flow. And those geometric gaps causing S-matter provide a natural blueprint for exactly where galaxies should form. It all just fits. Now look, this all sounds incredible, right? But a beautiful idea isn't enough in science. It has to be testable. You have to be able to prove it wrong. And that's the beauty of this framework. It's built to be tested. It makes concrete predictions that we can actually go out and look for. And here are just a few of those predictions. It says that even in the absolute emptiest voids of space, there should be a minimum amount of hydrogen gas, constantly being created by this S energy. It predicts that the 5-to-1 ratio of dark to normal matter should be a stable geometric constant throughout all of cosmic history. And maybe most excitingly, it says that our powerful new telescopes, like the JWST, should actually be able to spot localized differences in the expansion rate. These are real, tangible things we can check. So what this all really amounts to is a profound reframing of our place in the universe. In this view, our cosmos isn't some static collection of disconnected parts that just happen to be here. It's an open, dynamic system, a fleeting, emergent state that exists inside a much deeper, more fundamental reality. Which, of course, leaves us with one final, mind-bending question. If this framework, or even something like it, turns out to be true, it means the world we experience every day is just the tiniest sliver of what's real. Is our entire reality, in all its amazing complexity, just a projection from a deeper truth?